good as it gets.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it wasn't. Right. Hi! She was this is my hair anyway.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, you're gonna go. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're when was the last time we spoke?
In fact, I know this one. It was the 19th of December because it was our Christmas special just afterwards, and we.
You made me make that ridiculous bloody wreath thing, yeah? Right. I was given these bits of bendy stuff that didn't go into a circle to make the wreath. If you didn't see the last time we chatted, you can have a peek at it. I was stitched up, and I couldn't really take it seriously because I was wearing a Christmas jumper. Just to
Well, you didn't do the best job, but actually your wreath turned out to be turned out to be quite good. But it was very funny. Somehow there ended up being some clickbait about it, and it
was along the lines of Angel sabotages Dick, you know, and then you did.
I didn't. You actually. Okay, if you haven't seen it, you can go back on if you wish and look at the past sort of videos, the last one. But all I did was give you, and I started to tell you what to do, and you actually said, "Darling, I've been doing this when you were a child," and then
which is true,
and then wouldn't allow me to tell you, and then
practical self-sufficiency.
Wrong.
How was practical self-sufficiency as a book? We're doing willow crafts and that. In 2005, you're practically still at school, weren't you? I was coppicing and using willow to make things.
Good. Well, babes, I just let you get on and do what you were going to do. But I think it was in the Express or somewhere. Anyway, clickbait. It's all very, very funny. So, and that was Christmas. That was the last time we saw it. So since then.
Yeah, since then. Right. We Christmas and New Year, obviously, and we're into this year well and truly. I think the lead up to Christmas is worth going through because if you saw the Christmas special and you saw Escape to the Chateau there, you saw a trip to Colmar, and Christmas for us began in it sort of began with that Colmar trip, didn't it really? Because up to that point it was quite quiet.
Yeah, I mean, of course the home base advert. That
October making the advert for Homebase, and that was hilarious. That we got some behind the scenes clips of that which we kept as a family, and Angela encouraging the reindeers to come in was hilarious. I just loved every part of that.
It was. I mean, it's been last year was so Christmassy, and Colmar is such a special place. It really is. I mean, there's a magic to the architecture that that's
the colours.
It feels Christmassy
all
year round.
And we saw snow that wasn't actually in the town. When we were driving in there, we went up to the vineyards, and we went up to get. And by the way, if you saw it and you saw some of the wines that we have from the Alsace, you can get your hands on them and get them because the Arthur knows his way around his wines. You talked to him about it, but they sort of the late wine. Oh yeah, we've asked him.
No, I mean, does he? No, he does.
And we let him taste what we're having all the time. And I think he would become lush very easily, that young man, because he loves the taste of it all. And because of the Colmar experience, we had our Christmas with Jenny and Steve, Grandma and Granddad, your mum and Dad, because they weren't going to be with us for Christmas.
They were going back to the UK, and they did, and they loved it. They, we see lots of family that I haven't seen in a while, and it was quite a special time for them. But I think that's become a little bit of a tradition, that either we haven't seen your mum and she comes over, or my mum's not going to be here. We've always had a pre-Christmas.
And we've had friends coming as well.
Yeah.
The concept of getting together for our Christmas, that's part of the tradition, and the fondue worked really well. I'm not putting too much smoke there. I think our fondue compared to the one we had in Colmar was very interesting because it had more, the broth itself, and when we did it with your mum and dad, it worked. So much so your brother.
Oh, when my brother came over just after Christmas, we redid the fondue just for him, and he absolutely loved it. But I think your fondue broth had lots of, it did have a different depth to it. It was delicious. I mean,
we could have drunk it by itself before we started, but what was really interesting when Paul was across, and when we had the 7 of us for another Christmas after Christmas, because you can't start your Christmases too early, but because Paul, he wasn't interested in having a turkey or a cake or other things, so what we did was we actually had the broth, and as a family we drank the broth afterwards, and it was yummy. absolutely delicious.
But I mean, we hope you had a lovely Christmas. Okay, I know there's been lots of sort of weird and wonderful things happening, but you know, Christmas is that time when you should kind of stop. I mean, and we did, it was just the 4 of us, and on Christmas Eve, we went outside and we have our bells, and the kids
we have our bells. Hold on, you have to explain that because this is normal. Because we have our bells. Angela has got an Arthur and Dorothy set of reindeer bells. And
given to us by a lovely lady called Karen, who actually keeps the dancer and Blitzen, the Father Christmas's reindeers, if you don't know, and and they were really happy this year because we've got a new roof. Last year,
apparently it's really comfortable for them.
Apparently the year before they had a couple of problems, a couple of slates were missing.
I didn't blame them. I never blamed them. 'Cause I'm not sort of but actually, the bells, which are reindeer bells, because Arthur and Dorothy traditions, taking on things to do with you, they go out for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is quite a long time.
In the cold.
Yeah. They're out there, they're ready for bed, they've got their dressing gowns on, they're all sort of wrapped up, and they go out and they ring the bells for 2 minutes to make sure the reindeers can find us. Because we don't want any mistakes, let's not be too shy about that.
Exactly. And it works because, you know, we left lots of stuff out. We left some wine. We left some wine from the Alsace because Arthur was, you know, this was, what was it called? The non-tardy. Arthur knows me better than I do. He does, doesn't
he?
It's like the nectar of Christmas. It's the ice wine from the grapes, and I mean this particular bottle is not cheap, not cheap. And we opened one just for Father Christmas, and we put some stuff out for. We had
put some stuff out for him.
Oh, do we put
Noel did well this year.
A Berwicker he got this year. Yeah. Lucky.
And by the way, the Berwicker is something you will. Instead of Christmas cakes, we have to have Christmas pudding. To be fair, Christmas pudding is sacrosanct.
Yeah.
But the Berwicker instead of a Christmas cake is something we will now do because you know, it lasted all the way up to the new year, and you can see the slices getting thinner afterwards. But because we still had quite a few that we made the first time around, Père Noel won out, and he had a couple of slices on there. We had carrots on there. We had the wine. It was actually quite a nice little sort of.
It was a little ensemble, and Dorothy had written him a note as well. So that was really, really sweet. And he found it, and he had no problems. And Christmas Eve is always quite interesting for the children. They are so excited. But Dorothy, and she has always been like this from really, really young. She has never ever wanted to go and sit on Father Christmas's knee.
But
I'm not sitting on James.
We were on Ger, and a lovely Père Noel was there. And Arthur just went up and put his arms around and hugged Père Noel. And Père Noel goes like this to Dorothy, and she went behind me and said, I don't know him. He's not actually getting a hug from me.
Do you remember the year before that with the school one that was just in Martigny, and she was so young, and she was the only one. There was this big picture of Father Christmas, and Dorothy's like, I've not been in that picture. But even at sort of 7 years old, this year it was, she felt it took her a while to get to sleep because she didn't really like the idea that Father Christmas was popping
into her bedroom
to leave her presents. I just love her so much. But this year they did.
That's how you train your daughter, ladies and gentlemen. No strange men in the bedroom at all until she's 35. This is the conversation we've had.
Ever.
No, 35 I think is a good starting point.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. She'll be married for 10 years by then. That's acceptable. That's the sort of behaviour we want to have. But Donna McDuff, she bless her, but Christmas Eve, she didn't settle quite so easily. But they were so excited.
And the year before they got up at 2:30, and this year we had a lay-in, it was 5:30, and they both.
In fact, it was so late we didn't even worry about them coming in straight away.
Yeah.
It's because normally you're almost on autopilot. Says go back for another hour. You know.
No, we were sort of. I was up all night really listening out for for Christmas and getting a few bits and pieces ready. They both come in. Oh, the excitement, that age. It's just like you want to bottle that age up where how Christmas has been, and he'd written a note, and Dorothy had a parcel that looked exactly like a skateboard. So because she'd asked for a skateboard. Petal had got. I think Father Christmas did alright actually because Petal had got sort of like a lovely like Breton type of jumper. Yeah, there we go, Petal.
The actual at the seaside, the yellow ones with the white and blue stripes inside. You see people wearing it at the seaside. Well, Petal's got one to come to when she comes to the seaside with us. Yeah, that is so bloody ridiculous. The children know I had nothing to do with it. It was what Father Christmas did.
Oh my
Father Christmas did some things this year that they knew Daddy would be a little bit grumpy about, and that was one of them.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
the other one was Arthur's Mjolnir.
Arthur got a Thor hammer, an actual Thor hammer. I have no idea what Christmas was thinking about because it's a 5. Was it 5 kilo? Was it heavier?
It's a 5 kilo.
5 kilo hammer.
And although to just put this into context, the hammer it's quite a nice shape actually because it's got soft, it's got hard plastic on the end of it with metal in the middle of it, but it's a big sort of forming hammer. It's a massive big thing, and Arthur knows when he's carried it. When we went for our Christmas walk later on, because what we do when the turkey or the bird or whatever it is goes in the oven, we've got this habit now, we've got this tradition of walking around the boundary together as a family. All of us in Petal will walk all the way around, we'll chat and we'll do things, it doesn't matter what the weather is, what's going on. And so Arthur set off with lots of gusto carrying Mjolnir. Didn't get all the way around carrying him because the bloody thing was heavy.
Me and you ended up carrying him by the end.
Yeah.
So, him, not Arthur, the Mjolnir, the hammer.
Mjolnir. Thor's quite important in our life at the minute, and all the Norse myths. And he can pronounce and knows all the names and things. I keep forgetting.
And James, Dick's big boy, bought Arthur sort of like this silver Mjolnir necklace, and he hasn't. A
little sort of Thor amulet.
Yeah, he hasn't.
A hammer for pagans.
He hasn't had it off yet. He won't take it off yet.
But that's great. And thanks, James, by the way. Cheers, mate. We really appreciate it. But he got to the point where he was wearing it over the top of his thing with a tracksuit. I gotta tell you, it looked like something from the 70s. Yes, it did.
It's not. Arthur doesn't have tracksuits. He has.
You say that, but it just a zip top could be a hoodie, but it looked like a tracksuit with a little.
He's such a tinker. So,
but he loves it to bits.
So our Christmas was quite restful because I think last year, running up to Christmas especially, we were gunning for it all the way. We were crazy, weren't we? And it was just nice to properly rest.
And that was before Christmas as well as Christmas itself. Now, I popped back to the UK very briefly to see James, Charles, the little ones, and see family. But I had a quick trip back there because it had to be a quick one when the kids were still at school.
Yeah.
And then when we came back, we had issues getting your mum and dad back. Because that's when the silly factor was such, we didn't know what was happening from one moment to the next. Yeah. So that was a bit hit or miss. And so between Christmas and New Year, there's a lot of time spent organising them coming back to see us.
Absolutely. They were fine because they're residents here with that. It was the tests. Because you had to have the 24-hour tests, and they were coming back on Boxing Day. And obviously you can't get a test anywhere on Christmas Day. So there was just, it's the hassle of all the changes of
understanding the protocols.
Yeah.
The tour now is our complete focus, but over Christmas, and I think your mum and dad were coming back, we weren't even thinking about the tour, were we?
Felt a million miles away still.
It was mild, because we knew we had lots of work to do for the tour.
But also, like, just getting the house back after Christmas. I mean,
This is quite important because the house is Christmas. And by Christmas, I'm actually looking, oh, there's still some bits in the corner. There's still some presents in the corner over there, and some things tucked away. Yeah, because the house was taken over completely for children, Christmas, and relaxing. No
and
pressure.
It's not just the foliage and the lights and the Christmas decoration.
There's quite a lot of that.
Yes, which there is a lot of.
There's an awful lot.
But there's always so much kind of, there's food and there's gifts and there's, there's just so much that is. The house was just every area you looked, there was stuff, and all the toys. We have been since the start of Christmas. We've been going through the playroom. Stuff's going to charity.
Talk about playroom for a second. The children have so many toys. They are so lucky, and they know they're lucky, and they love it. Their bedrooms, their playroom, everything. And then what happens is Parent Noel comes along and gives you a reboot with more stuff, and it's a very interesting situation because somehow it does get absorbed in.
It does, but there is a lot of stuff that goes back to charity because some of it comes from charity. There is stuff that goes up to the attic and
to be kept by Dorothy. Dorothy is actually but Dorothy. I think Dorothy is much more sort of. I'm keeping this for my children. And I've looked at more Dorothy, I must admit. But we're filling up our attic with things to be kept.
For their children. I love it. I just love that because
hold on, that's it. I just love it. You can see the pride that our children are keeping all the crap. Oh, it makes me so proud. Is that right?
Do you know, my mum was so stylish. She still is. But when she was growing up in her era, the clothes that she had in sort of the 60s and even 70s.
The 70s were a decade to miss, actually, to be fair.
But mum's clothes in the 60s, and she always just said, I just kick myself because I just gave it all away. And even some of the stuff that when we had growing up, it's just gone.
But you see,
not everything. I've got an ET because I was a massive fan of ET.
Where is ET at the minute, by the way?
Well, ET's up in Arthur's Bed. So I was part of the fan club, the ET fan club, and you got a ET teddy bear, and it absolutely petrifies Dorothy. So I'm like, well, one of you kids are going to have it because I love this teddy. So I've imposed it on Arthur. And
your mum and dad. Sorry, I'm complete aside. What was that? He's something or other 25 or 73 or something. What so over Christmas, had a bit of a. Where did was it your brother? Was your Paul bought something across?
No, it was nothing to do with that. We just had the television on, and it was it started off with Michael Bublé at Christmas or whatever it was.
Because that's what you had. He was there. It was lovely. It was quite a lot in the background.
It was. The kids love it. They go, Michael Bublé. Quinton really likes Michael Bublé as well. So. It's instead of having this music on, it's like having Spotify or something. And because we liked Michael Bublé, the E17 Christmas song come on, and you were not impressed. It's a very old song now. When was it? Early 2000s? I don't know.
I did completely out of the I was singing along, and Dorothy started getting.
Well, Dorothy thought they were all quite dishy. And you were.
He's what? Sorry.
He's 25.
What's it called?
He's 17.
What year is this?
I can't remember.
Come on, what age were you when you 17 were around?
I don't.
I was probably a major.
I was in my
20s. I might even been a colonel at that stage. That was 40 across the east. But that came out of the blue. We were talking about sort of ET, and that came out of the blue or something. But the tidying up, and I think the tidying up is the post-Christmas tidying up and the finding homes. We don't rush it because otherwise Christmas is finished. And I think that's really quite an important thing. There's no rush for that.
But you like the kids went back to school, and you do like the Christmas tree has to be down by the 12th night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and we were talking to somebody who keeps a Christmas tree
Oh,
for February.
yeah, Clem,
We were talking to Clem, and there's a Christmas tree in the back of us talking with a video. She said, yeah, she loves it. So
she turns, we were just having a Zoom with her, and we said, so when are you going to take yours down? And she just went, mew, and she said, oh no, it's not going to come down till February.
Yeah, which is quite interesting because it's my mum and the girls back in Northern Ireland take it down probably the day after Boxing Day, because up to Christmas is children, and then it's grown-ups for the New Year, the way they've always looked at it. But for us, the children won't see the New Year. In fact, we weren't very good at seeing the New Year this year, were we?
We never, ever are, actually. We're always a bit asleep.
We did it when your nan was here.
Yeah.
When your nan was here, because when was it? How many years ago was that? Because remember we had the table in here?
That was the first year.
No, never. It was the first year. It was so hot, it couldn't have been the first year.
It might have been the second year. I don't think we could have afforded that much heating on the first year.
Yeah, but we actually had a table in here.
We did.
Oh,
I think she was the first year.
It was actually.
So she was over staying.
She stayed in the dining room. She stayed in the dining room because there was a little bathroom off the dining room instead of the table. Well, that's right. And everybody's saying, and Nan, bless her, she's gone now. But Nan could listen in the dining room and hear what's going on in here and pass comment. Yeah, but apparently she was deaf. I'm bloody sure she was sharp as a tack. It was hilarious. And Arthur's never been small, but she'd sit in the chair over there, and Arthur would come in and she'd just whip him up on her knee. And she's such a delicate little lady, but it was so sweet.
It was so lovely, wasn't it?
But that was so New Year that year because we had a meal here we had courses over a period of time.
Yeah, I don't know. We are not very good at actually seeing the new year in. But what we are quite good at is sitting down on our bed together, and all of us, and looking through all the photographs.
New Year's Eve with the children. Yeah.
New Year's Eve, that's what we love to do. I mean, that's the bit that I always remember about New Year's, because we reminisce and go through all of our sort of like little adventures that we have, and
we need to start earlier. We need to start earlier because what you do is you get your phone, and people we're quite good at saving photographs and keeping some and printing some of them out to put on the wall.
Yeah.
But when you get your phones out and you start going from January through to December, I can lose Angela, and I can lose, and the children can lose her as well.
The kids love it as well.
But then she'll come back. And then they'll be there looking at this little set of pictures from a week that we've forgotten about.
But it's not just, this is the lovely thing, and I guess this is the joy of photographs, but also the ease of having it on your phone means that they're easily lost. That is the big thing. That's why we you must just make sure that you save or print out those photographs. But it's not just the big kind of holidays, is it? It's not the
it's a seaside trip. It's a little thing.
Yeah, but it's also, the first day the kids started school. It's that Dorothy started sort of pony riding, and
Arthur on a pony.
Arthur on a pony. That was funny.
Yeah, but then you find a little video of Arthur at his first rugby, and Arthur is he does the under 8s to under 10s in Laval, and he's 8. And this year he was only just 8 when he started compared to the others, so he's the youngest of that 2-year group. And he's ahead above most of them. Yes. And now they've got into contact sport. He loves it. His little rugby trips are great.
Oh, they are
and
fantastic.
The video of him, because Angela, when I was across in England just before Christmas, you took Arthur to rugby, and it's just wonderful. And he was saying, "I'm bleeding today with the kids," and he sort of, "I'm bleeding," and all of these things. He just is so into all
He
that.
really is. I mean, he's born.
But looking in that, seeing the girls are there, and sort of who's that?
Yeah, I know he's got little. His rugby team is mixed, and he does have a little crush on this gorgeous girl called Victoria. He's invited her to his birthday, and she's coming, and he's so excited.
But we see these photographs and we relive it. And Arthur on the pony was really funny because when Arthur did, he wasn't on a saddle. And I had to lead the pony around with him as well. And half the time, boys' bums aren't the shape for the top of a horse. Okay, that's just a statement I'm going to make very happily. And Arthur's starting to slide. There's a little bit, if you get a little bit over the top, he's bloody hard to get back up vertical again. And so he was just so not into ponies. And then we had the first, because they went to the school for a tester day, we had Dorothy on the tester day, and Dorothy spent a lot of time saying, this is something not quite, but she loved it.
Yeah.
She loved the pony, she loved every aspect of it. And now she goes on a weekly basis and just loves it. She's trotting.
Yeah.
She's even starting to do a little bit of jumping and things at the pony, which is just next door. The pony club's next door, which is great, which means we'll never have to look after ponies because we'll just go next door to ride.
Yes, exactly. And she does. It's one thing that she's really kept up, isn't it?
Yeah.
She loves it. Although, in fairness, everything that she'd started over the last couple of years has been disrupted by the C word. So it's hard to know what she would have loved to do because she's actually a very good gymnast. She also loved ballet.
She loved the gymnast. She was really good on the beam, doing all that. And of course, her cousin Sarah was an international gymnast.
Exactly.
My brother's daughter, and all of these things were there. But it's hard to do. But this all relived, and it's they're even reliving outfits. You got Angela and Dorothy saying, "Oh, when were that top?"
And even Dorothy going, you look really pretty in that photograph, and forgetting that she's gorgeous. And I know I'm biased mum saying that, but it was just honestly, it's the highlight of that day for me. It's just sort of
we have to start early.
We do. We probably need to start it about 30.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, 5 o'clock we need to sort of go into bed because we sit in the bed because we have a lot of conversation before we're sitting on the bed. And we are known for our sort of, when we're in relaxation mode, we'll put a family film on. Or I may nod off. That's a fair comment.
I know, but we don't on the last day of the year.
No,
we have a nice sort of meal together, don't we? And then it's just bath and it's that. And then me and you sort of always have plans to do something nice and we sleep by 11:30. Yeah. Always 11:30.
Yeah, it seems like that's quite close to midnight, doesn't it? But
it does.
That's French time, isn't it?
Which is so close. And then before you know it, the year is just running away with you. It's the plans for the year, because we are filming Escape to the Chateau. It is series 9. Can you believe that? Series 9.
Somehow, time has flown, but they're ramping up, and I think the New Year's Eve chats and all the rest of it. We still had the weekend before the children were back on the 3rd, weren't they? And the bank holidays confuse me a little bit as to where because things aren't open anyway a lot of the time. But then the kids going back to school and then ramping up, and it was a proper ramp up because anybody who was around getting all the helpers and things, nobody was actually working. So we had a really proper quiet period, and then all of a sudden you're ramping up, and that's when the year's activities. We have to think what we're going to do when, how we're going to do it. And I think the UK had a different holiday week that week because we were quite productive because we weren't interacting a lot with people. Does that sound wrong? We were actually getting things done.
We were sending out emails and people weren't replying instantly. So, we had a week of kind of nearly catching up.
Yeah,
so,
and people were coming back, and there's things like that period, the ramp up. You may have noticed the front of the chateau was looking lovely, and it was stunning, but there was more to be done. And so Steve and Rob are continuing the motion. Yeah. All Beachy Steve Beatty's he's still busy away doing some stuff because we have some stuff to do with your mum and dad's place that we're continuing on with, and so all that has to ramp up at the same time as we have to prepare about our projects for the year and make sure we know what we want to do.
We are going on tour in a couple of weeks. I mean, I can't believe it's come round, because 2 years ago when we finished our Dare to Do It tour, it got cut short, but only by one, and it was just we had the most incredible time, didn't we? When we come back, it's 6 weeks, and when we come back, we've got 6 weeks before our first wedding, and it has been interesting because
that's enough that you're thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm a planner, and I hate not being in control of what I'm planning, and we're planning for the tour and outfits and all sorts and
outfits. Let's talk outfits for a second, because 2 years since the last tour, and I don't actually see what you're wearing, by the way, because that's out of my bailiwick. So we had to go and find my outfits and things, because mine are still around the place.
Yeah, they are.
So I think I'm probably the easiest.
You are.
Arthur and Dorothy are 2 years more.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, I don't know if you come to see, so I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, you and Arthur look so cute, and you know, this is still the same tour. It's still the Dare to Do It tour. We are starting what we had finished a couple of years ago.
Plus things have
more
changed.
things, because obviously the house has evolved, we've evolved, family's evolved, definitely. But anyway, it's a surprise, but you know.
And the interaction's different as well. One of the things about the tour that we're getting ready for was we were just looking forward to seeing people, and your emails, when you were responding to emails, and we were always going to say, we will say hello then, we'll see you then. It's not going to be the same sort of tour as last, because the beauty about the first tour was we saw so many people and so many stories, and we had a chance to speak to people that you'd sort of sent emails to, we knew we were going to see.
Yes,
so
there's different protocols now with the theatres. I mean, we're quite strict about it, and you know we have to sit within those kind of boundaries. But COVID's not going to be around forever, and you know it's I don't know. I've got some ideas and bits and pieces going on in my mind, because
that's the sort of comment you know scares me. If you're on the salon, you understand. And Angela said that, I shift a little bit. That's okay. Because
I just don't like the idea. You know, that was the highlight for both of us, wasn't it?
Do you know what? They had protocols in the theatres, and we weren't allowed to spend too long doing it because theatres had to shut. Somehow we just ignored that, and we managed to see everybody who queued. Everybody who queued, we managed to have a photo with and a chat with, and that for us. You probably don't know this about the tour, but that was getting quite late in some of them, and we always asked that we could see if we had a hotel where we could walk back to, and we'd pop for a curry some evenings, because we don't have curry houses in France in the same way. In one of the Guildford, we had a kebab. We had a dirty kebab, a naughty kebab. Last thing.
Where was that? Where was that one?
That was in Guildford, when we went up the hill to the little kebab place.
I remember it really, because we was there, and obviously, you know, we don't ever have a drink when we're doing sort of this sort of thing.
We tried to do it. We just get drunk to be funnier.
No, definitely not. You can't. But we.
I could.
And always with it in kebab houses at that time of night, there's always drunk people, which is, you know, used to be me. Got from my hand up.
I say, I don't know what you're talking about. What?
And we were sort of in there, just sort of being, getting our kebabs, and then it was like, that is you. I know you. Where do I know you from? It always starts with that, because I don't think, because we're not here at the Chateau, and we're not in the kind of the environment. People don't always get it straight away, and then it dawns.
But it's interesting because the tour, that part of the tour was all of those things, and we had, because when you're doing a bit on stage and we're having fun and all this stuff, our walk home was lovely. We've walked in the rain, we walked in the sort of the quiet nights, I think some of the walks were bloody long. We had a decent old walk through some places I don't think we were supposed to walk. But it was really interesting, because from our perspective, that and seeing people, that was all part of it. This tour is slightly different, so we're ramping up to it, and we're just sort of getting ourselves prepared. And the clothing, I know you've got Arthur's stuff ordered and it's arrived. Dorothy's, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, well,
all I know is I've got lots of pairs of shreddies, because we're away for 6 weeks, so I'll have lots of underpants. But I'm catered for that. That's what sort of thing I can do.
Next month, when we are actually in the tour and we are doing it, we obviously won't be able to do our evening with, because our evening we will be on stage. So you're going to get to see kind of what goes on behind sort of the scenes, and we're quite looking forward to that.
I heard this just before we sat down, by the way. The first time this has ever been mentioned to me. And I don't know quite what is meant by that. You're talking about taking snippets in some different places.
Absolutely, and because I think it's fascinating. You know, you go what happens sort of behind, because you know we have a really small team that come with us on tour, and it's like a tour manager and sort of production. And it was last year.
That's how we run, by the way. There's 3 people.
There's 3 people.
There's 3 people that's in front of the van with all our stuff in it, and they come really set up.
They work so hard, and it's like one of those comedy shows when you've got someone setting up, and then they're out doing the merchandise, and then they're taking everything down, they're driving it.
It's like a circus in France.
It is. They're just absolutely epic.
Circus in France, by the way, we've seen a couple of little ones, and you go to them, and there's things like there's cats. I mean, cats jumping through a hoop type thing, and some of them. But you've got the person taking the money is the clown. Then they come on to the juggler, and then next thing you see the high rope, which is not very high. But that doesn't matter because that. But the performances, everybody's got 3 or 4 rules, and we make a point of clapping as hard as we can because they work so hard for what they're doing. And the children have always loved it. But that mindset of having multi rules. That's what it's like being on tour.
It is. It's great. It was such a highlight. It still is going to be incredible. And actually during this chat, I've just had the inspiration that I needed. We're going to chat after.
Now, you see, this is why I get worried. What do you call it when you have you ask for something in advance at the theatre as a performer? A rider. A rider. You get to have riders. We get to have riders.
Do it? Did you?
Yes, we do. And this is how much nice and simple. This is us on the road, remember, doing things. And the one thing that I ask for that we have is we always have an espresso machine. That's one thing that was travelled around us, was put in our
oh, it was, wasn't it?
see? So we have an espresso machine in backstage, so we can have a coffee.
That's the only thing we asked for.
That's the only thing we ever asked for. Orange Smarties, you can ask for all the things you want, but we just wanted to have the ability to have a decent cup of coffee, because sometimes it's sort of, you just want a cup of coffee.
Did I have a coffee?
You have been known to have a coffee without a
I don't like having coffees at night, because it makes me a little bit crazy, but I like to have one in the morning.
Case rest, my love. Say no more.
No, I don't like having a coffee.
You're a scary girl. But the whole mindset, but these things, because we actually, when we're travelling, we're quite well organised, because I've actually got a hard case, and in that hard case there's a bottle of Bushmills, 2 crystal glasses, and a small espresso maker. And that could, because hotel coffees, you can't trust them. The whole route, the way of doing it all, the administration is quite important. Lots of different locations, lots of travelling, and it's interesting because theatre availability always feels like it's done by somebody without a geography O level, and that's because when
like me.
could have been Angela going through, because this sounds nice and this sounds like it could be close to it, but we don't go up and we don't cross Hadrian's Wall more than once. That's
okay. It's not as simple as that.
I know, but I just said it feels like that, and it's because of availability and what dates people have. We understand all that, but it is very funny. We are going to get to see a lot of the UK, and it's interesting because every single location we go to, I've been to, and I know where it is, and I know for Angela, it's a mystery tour every morning.
But
is it?
Yes, sometimes.
I love it when Angela's in London, book something in Birmingham and says, is that close? Or we're going to Cardiff. We're going to remember that party you organised in Cardiff?
Okay.
Yeah,
let's move on.
But this is part of our life. And we are going to see a lot of the UK, and that is
got
actually quite special.
27 or 28 nights, and honestly, so we need to get lots of Chateau. Honestly, we can't wait. It is for us now. We're doing a bit of filming at the moment, but our main focus is the tour. It is for the next few weeks, and then we're going to come back. Basically, we're going to hit the ground running with the wedding season. So we've got a big year ahead of us.
It's actually very exciting.
It's exciting
because it almost feels like, I know we've had the hiccup over Christmas and New Year, but it feels like there's a real promise into 22, and for us, we can't wait.
It's going to be.
Last year was brilliant, by the way. I loved last year. Never mind all that crap. There's a lot of that, but I loved it. I thought we had a very, very special year.
We did.
With the children doing things very special.
And this year's going to be different. Last year was the year of the roof and dust, and this year, and look what we got and what we achieved. But this year is going to be a different year because it's going to be the year of the celebration, and I'm just not going to hear anything different.
We can have to fill me up, darling. Yeah.
Cheers.
It's going to be a great
Good
day.
health.
Hopefully we get to see you somewhere. Wave at us. We're on tour. 28 places up and down the country.
Here's to the tour and to just celebrations, being together.
Have a cracking year. Lovely to see you.